Okay, in this video I want to show you my favorite exercise for improving shoulder position, particularly for those people who have kind of rounded shoulders or poor posture. This would essentially be one of our phase one strategies in the Not Really Yoga system. So essentially what we're doing first is a pec stretch, but we're going to give that pec stretch our 3D type of stretching, where we're looking at these three planes of motion that we want to apply to the stretch. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to stand next to the wall. You can't see my feet, but I'm having my feet line up parallel with the wall. I'm going to have my hands at either 10 o'clock or 2 o'clock, depending which arm is against the wall. And I'll move into this so you can see it a little bit better in a moment. But just to show you here, so I'm going to come on to 10 o'clock here. And I'm going to first, I want to think about what's happening in the sagittal plane, front to back. So I'm going to lift my chest. To lift my chest, I want to look to posteriorly tilt my rib cage. And that alone is something that people with rounded shoulders tend to have a little bit of difficulty doing. So maybe sitting on your knees or on the ground, looking at, if you can actually isolate movement in your rib cage is an important thing to help both with the exercise here and the ongoing strategy towards not having rounded shoulders. So rib cage tilts up. Then in the frontal plane, we're going to slip sideways towards the wall. And in my hand on the wall, I'm going to rotate away from the wall. So this is the first stage of it. Show you from the other way. So I'm at 2 o'clock here, and I actually like to kind of walk my hands away from me a little bit, tilting chest up, leaning into wall, rotating away. So this part of the stretch I'd hold for around a minute and just hang out here. Sometimes we might even do some ball release work on the pec prior to this as well, which is a really nice addition to this strategy. And I also might look to get some movement in circles around the wall as well, but this is meant to be one exercise video anyway. So what we want to do once we've held this for around a minute, we want to push the hand into the wall as hard as we can for around 10 seconds, and we should feel the pec responding here. When we push, what we don't want to do is push and pop the shoulder up. And that's why I'm doing, it's important to note why I'm doing this stretch with the hand in this position. Often we see pec stretches like this that tend to translate the shoulder forward, which isn't a great position for people who tend to have round shoulders because they're often privy to shoulder impingements and things like that. So we want to create some space and we want to drop that shoulder back, and that's an important part of the exercise in terms of tilting that rib cage up. So I'm going to push into the wall here, get that isometric, and then what I want to do is, without kind of rotating away from the wall, I want to lift my hand away from the wall as far as I can for around 5 seconds. I'm going to pop back into the stretch and find that same three-plane position that I was doing before. Often like to back that up, follow that up with a few things, looking at some upper back and some scap stability exercise. But in terms of that one exercise that I think is a really great start for improving shoulder position and posture, that's hard to beat, I reckon. So if you want any more info around that, please subscribe, like, share. If this has helped you, please let your friends know. See you next time.